Welcome back to another episode of The Road to 2200. We are 1841, playing against someone rated 1797. Here I am playing my QGD stuff. This always feels a little wrong. Like they're giving up any chance to play with the C-pawn. I mean, there is this, like, Jagoran stuff, but no one seems to play that. I never quite understand why they make that move. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna take here. I considered playing here first, but I'm not going to. Okay, that was kind of a long pause for that. Were they really considering taking with the queen? That certainly would have been an interesting decision. And just kind of playing my normal stuff here. I assume the knight's coming out. We'll put the bishop there. Then we'll go here. Then we'll go here. And just, you know... And the beginning of the games are pretty common for me. So this is one of the big reasons why this is kind of an issue, is that now they can never back up this knight. So I always have whenever I want this exchange, which generally is something I do want to do. But I think I can delay it. So I don't think... Then I guess I could move the knight. I could maybe jam the knight in there. Should be a little interesting. Another kind of weird move. Like this is the normal spot to go and really kind of get maximum value. And now I get to go here and say you can never go here. So I don't know. I feel like, I guess the way I would describe it is my opponent is not playing very maximally. All right. I mean, I wanted to make this exchange anyway, and now they've given me a tempo to do it. So I'm gonna do it. And it's kind of a deep reason for the exchange there. Oh, maybe it doesn't work as well here, actually. I didn't think about that. By having the knight here, it does deprive me of my immediate b4, which I like to do here generally. So since I can't play b4 anyway, I'll castle first. We're fully safe. We're fully developed. All of our pieces are kind of on their optimal squares. This piece is staring at this. What a weird move. So they've moved this bishop twice to have the bishop there. Oh, because it was hanging. Oh my goodness. I somehow missed this. Oh. Yeah. Wow. Talk about really making a colossal error. Like, the pawn was hanging. I was so caught up in, like, my opening ideas, I didn't even play chess. I just made rote moves. That's a very good lesson for everyone out there. You gotta play chess. Okay. Now, let's see. I mean, and the plus side is both of their bishops look bad to me. So that's great. I guess we should reevaluate. What I want to do is go here, here, and do that. But is there something I have that's even better since this game's gone a little bit wonky? I'm a bit tempted to go here, here. So I have a little more flexibility with this rook to go here. But if I do that, then they can go back to here and cause me some troubles. I think I'm just going to go here. Okay, wait. Before I go there. They have this move. And this move is kind of annoying. Hitting my bishop. Which then is going to have to go maybe to there. Then I can go here. Or maybe they go here. Okay, so here, here, here. Then if I try to kick him, he goes here. And it's kind of annoying. Maybe it's fine. I could just go here. I'm just going to go here and then here. We're going to slow it down a little bit. So we'll go here. And the problem is now I need to go here. So I think I probably should have just gone here. Because I'm going to have to go there anyway and then go here. So I basically lost myself a tempo. Yeah, I think that was kind of foolish. What did my... Okay, so my opponent castled. Am I going here? Sure. I'm going here to go there. And then to go there. And then this c pawn is quite backwards. Usually they end up putting it on c6, but it won't be able to get there. Ah, okay. So then their plan is to go through here generally to get to here, which is going to be a bit harder because of, again, their oddly placed knight. Now they have to go like, wait, how are they getting here? What's, yeah, it's like here, 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 here. So it's 4 moves to get to the square they want, which is kind of a problem because in less moves than that, I can be on this pawn a few times. So yeah, so I think I go here if they start the journey. Then I go here. And then they gotta go like here. So I think that's the way to go about this. Yeah. I'm also looking at like, how do I get here? Which, you know, similarly challenging journey. All right, I'm gonna go here. Probably this pawn is coming over. I mean, this rook. But maybe not. Maybe it'd be better to go here to have the option to push here, and this one is hitting here. Okay. As predicted, they're going on their journey to here, right? That makes a lot of sense. But I go here, and now when they come back to there, I'm able to just move the knight, and now I'm on it again. Okay, and if they go here, now this knight is stuck over here. I guess it could go here again, but that's about it. Maybe their thought is, I'll go there, but that doesn't work. Maybe the idea is to go there. I think regardless, we're looking to pivot this knight around to here. We're hitting this, we're hitting this. If they go here, maybe having my queen in front is actually going to cause me some serious problems. I didn't think about that. All right, but I think we go here. The idea is here, here. Probably not taking. Probably just here to annoy them is enough. If they go something like here to prevent that, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. That's a neat idea. I didn't think about that. Causes me some grief, I suppose. Except I think I wanted to go like this anyway. So maybe that's still totally fine. I also have this idea. What is happening with this knight? Is the knight lost? Okay, so I go here. The best move might be to back up the knight. If that happens, I take, they take, I take. I'm on the knight, I'm on the 7th, I can double. That feels really strong too. I wouldn't mind this trade if queens are coming off. Like, that's really not a big deal. But if it's like here, 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 and then it is going to take the queen a bit to get in. Let's say here takes, and then I guess what I'm worried about is this queen running. I don't think the queen can run anywhere. I like keeping this knight on the board. Oh, this doesn't work anyway. I would have to go back to there. So I think I'm going to say, I think this wins? That's a big question mark, right? How could that move win? And if it does, it's because of just the utterly poor placement of that knight this game, right? They just by putting it on c6, it had so many ramifications. It's quite interesting. We can talk about those afterwards. But what is he doing here? Best case scenario that I see, loses a pawn. That's best case scenario. That's pretty bad best case scenario. And letting me be doubled on the c-file. I guess something to say is that if that happens, they can trade both rooks off. But then I have this idea of hitting this pawn, and I don't think they can back that up either if both rooks come off. Because this pawn will be gone in that. Yeah, so we're going to take here. And wait, before I, yeah, okay, that's fine. For a second there, I thought, what if they go here? But I can just take. So I mean, if I am them, I don't want to trade queens here. I absolutely do not. I feel like my only hope is that this king looks airy. Maybe I can take advantage of it. So if I'm playing the black pieces, I think I'm going there. Then what would my move be? Perhaps this, threatening this mate idea? Could be interesting. Oh, no, I cannot go there. That would hang my queen. That is not a good plan. Yeah, and then I can't... Oh, okay. What I can do is threaten this pawn, though. I could go perhaps here, threatening to put my rook here and threatening this pawn. I just feel like my opponent is in a lot of trouble this game. They played it very poorly, right? They threw away a pawn at the beginning that I missed. Ugh, still maddening. And then they just really had troubling placed pieces. Okay, that's a very surprising move to me. What is the point of that? I think I just take, right? Take, load up on the 7th rank with my rooks. I think this is the right approach. Unless there's something better that I'm missing. I don't think so. I think softening up their position softens up that pawn. Because if they don't try to trade rooks, it's going to be like here, here, here with the other rook. And then suddenly things get quite problematic. I mean, I'm sure you've seen plenty of strategy books where rooks on the 7th rank just flat out win the game. Okay, and now they can trade the rooks, and I'm well aware of that. And then if we do, boom, boom, I'm up 2 pawns. I think the game is essentially over. That is a move I was not expecting. Okay, what is happening with this move? Perhaps looking to go there. I don't think that fixes anything. Now maybe getting the knight involved, cutting off my rook. Like if I'm here and they go there, but I think I can go like here even, and then if here, maybe I feel compelled to take, and then now they have a nice pass pawn. And they fix their pawn problem. So maybe I really don't want them to get to there, but I guess they could do it through there either way. I could go here to try to take all that away. Okay, so here, 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 then here. I still can't do much. Interesting. I think I'm going to go here. I might be regretful of this, because it does look like they might be able to fix this pawn, which would be really annoying. Okay, so we've got that followed by this. If I go here, and here, and I go here, I will win this pawn. I'll give up this pawn in the process, which I don't love. Looking for something more interesting to do. Pawn is just so weak. I want to just win it without losing anything. Rook here, takes, doesn't do anything. Ooh, and this goes away. Also, we have that. So, I think I'm going to go here. Wait, something I'm missing. I'm missing this, which would be hitting the rook, which I think is fine. Then I would go here, and this knight looks pretty badly placed. Like if it tries to come in here, I'll just come back. So I think I can do this. Then the idea is to go here. Give up this pawn. I get this pawn. I feel like with this pawn off the board and not as a pass pawn, that's pretty good for me. So where else can this knight go that's more devastating than takes? I don't see anything. I think this is fine. I go here. I'm going here, by the way, hitting that. Hitting that. Lots of interesting stuff. Here also is interesting. Hitting that rook. Only move it would have is there, by the way. So here. Okay, we're going here. And I think I would be pretty happy with this trade. Their pawns are really a mess after that. I guess I didn't really look at where they might put this bishop. That probably would have been wise of me. There's not really a lot of squares. Are there no squares to put the bishop, actually? Do they just have to let this happen? And now, if this guy comes back to here, we very happily take there. So, another good move in the position seems to be this. So, like, we are doing very well right now. Okay. Technically can go there. Right, and I can't move this rook. It's this guy. So... here. Here. Where am I putting this knight? Because I really want to go there. Here. Here. Maybe I just go here, followed by that. This is check. If they take here, I think I'm okay going this route then. Actually, I guess I still have this move. And it's still very good. This knight looks very precarious down here. Okay, obviously we have to go there. I won't be shocked if they go there to try to trade off. I'll probably go here. Threatening this. I don't think they want to just sit there. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm gonna go here. The idea is if they take, then we still have this. If they don't take, maybe they go here. And then maybe I have something like this. Or maybe I just have by... Oh, goodness. This is so strong because I can just support it. Like that feels very strong. I have a very hard time imagining a world where I don't win this one. I think the only way we could get in a spot where I can't win is if we somehow traded down to one rook and pawns. And that is all that's on the board. Okay. So I thought they might do that. How does this guy get out? I'm going here next. And that feels like they lose a second pawn. They go there. Wait, hold on. Am I messing this up? Here takes there. I don't... No, because I'm already... Yeah, because I'm... Wow, it would be devastating. I have that check. Wow, that would be cool. Alright, I think this works. I think this just wins. I think he's trapped. Has to go here. We take... If takes. We're covering everything. Yeah, this should be it. Now, this is the scenario I said I didn't want to trade down to. But I am up 2 pawns. So, I don't know. Maybe this was a big mistake to explicitly say the only chance they have is if we trade down to this spot and then do it. So, maybe that was a mistake. I feel like this is coming next. I can explicitly stop that if I want. So, let's say I want. Okay, then what if this? I really want to get this move in. So what if here, 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 here... Alright, I'm gonna go... Wait, we also have this check. Does this do anything for us? Nah, not really. I'm going here. This is my win. Right this way. If they go here, and I go here... Wow. I didn't expect that. Okay, I'm gonna go here. And now you're totally... Oh, I think I want to check here first and drive him out that way. So going here. Driving him farther away, so now I can just run this up. Because now it's like, it takes forever to come back. Whereas before, he could have just gone over one square and been kind of in the way. So this is going to take a lot. I don't know what my opponent's going to have. Probably rook here makes sense. Then... I don't really want to put my rook behind it, but do I have a choice? Not really. Okay, I think the king's gonna have time to get over now. This didn't quite work out how I thought it would. Okay, I'll go here so that we can still go there. If he takes, and then we even can go here. It's gonna be real hard for my opponent to stop these extra pawns. If he lets them be connected on top of everything else, I think things are really over. I think I can go here. All right. I guess I didn't look at that. What would that do? Did I just hang a pawn? What am I doing? Whew. Really lost it lately. I don't know what is happening here. That was a horrific move. This was like such a bad move. It's unbelievable. What? Huh? What is happening? Okay. I guess they're thinking they're going there or... Wow. All right. Cool. Is this the move? Here, 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 here. Yeah. This is the move. Wow, I don't know what happened there. It was like... I feel like this happens sometimes. If your blunder is so egregious, they don't recognize it's a blunder because they're not looking for that. They're like, no one would make that bad of a blunder. That couldn't have been a blunder. I must, like, I'm not looking for it even. Okay. So, goes there. I do have this, though, right? So it's really not that big of a problem. Just start pushing. Okay, and we go here. And then he goes here. I think I'm just going to go around like this. That was better than what I thought it would do. Okay. I'm not going to get mated, right? Wait. After this... Okay. Wow, I have not played this ending very well. The nice thing is I'm not sure what they're going to do here. Okay, that's what I thought he might do. I'm going to come out this way. I assume we're going to have this. Although that might be a problem. I might just be able to go for it then. This is the next move, looking to mate me. So I'm going to go like this. And then if he goes here looking to mate me, I go there. And queen... Oh, letting me out. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to hide behind his king. I'm going to use his king for shelter. Shelter me, king! And now I think we're done. Despite me not playing this ending particularly well, I was up so much. Although, I don't know, if my opponent hadn't made that egregious blunder, What happens in this game, it's unclear. I think we just make the queen here. And we go. There we go. That's it. That's it. That's the game. So, let's take a look at this thing. I'm not ready to boast about my play this game. I feel like I played kind of badly. It was very interesting. On the last podcast, someone talked about this, about how when you win, it's always because your opponent played bad, and when you lose, it's because you played bad, so you never get to win at chess. I thought that was a really insightful statement that really rings true for me. Okay, so actually, let's go back to this move. How weird is this move? This move's not that weird. In the database, knight f6 is the normal move at 50,000 moves. This move is played 1,800 times. But I believe it's played with a very specific idea. Okay, never mind. I assumed this was the idea, to try to get this kind of stuff. That would be the Chigorin. But apparently the most common move here is actually here. I don't really know what's happening. And apparently white wins most of these games. The engine says white has a pretty decent advantage already. Yeah, so just this move, we're basically equal here, right? And already the engine's like, white is up 0.5. Now that's a very small amount in our game. That's almost irrelevant. But I think it is telling that the engine is like, that is not a good place for the knight. And we talked about one reason is now any C pawn moves are gone. So that's an interesting twist. So we'll continue and we'll talk about when that becomes a problem. Alright, and then like I said, they played very minimalistically. This is a weird move. I'm not saying it's a bad move. The engine says it's a terrible move. It is a terrible move. What am I talking about, right? I just totally missed the very basic combo of takes, boom. Just a very simple remove the defender. And this is one of the big takeaways of the game. When you're playing the opening, you still have to play chess. You can't just be like, all right, I know where I want my pieces. I'll just do it. You actually have to look at what your opponents are doing. So that was a big blunder. And so it forced my opponent to go there. And so it was like, okay. Oh, this is really funny. Wait, I didn't even recognize this. Look at this. I could have won the pawn here. My opponent forces me to win the pawn, and I still miss it and just castle like a fool. Oh, okay, and then they have to make this move. So they put their bishop on a bad square and then had to move it to another bad square. This is on a bad square. And the engine's like, man, it's a 0.8 lead already for white. Like, sure, white's not up any material, but boy, we are right on the brink of some disastrous stuff. All right, I don't think this was the right move here. I think probably rook b1, if I want to do that minority attack stuff, is the answer. Computer says the best moves here are bishop b5, coming over here, and just pinning. Okay. I didn't love that move. Queen b3, this was definitely a move I thought about, but I don't know, it kind of gets in the way of what I wanted to do. And this, the computer's like, I don't know, it's not that great. We're, about, now we're only at 0.3. The computer's like, you're giving up your whole lead here. Alright. I thought this was a reasonable plan. But then my opponent went b5, and it was like, oh, interesting. And b5 is a bad move here. And the reason I think we saw in the game was once you go b5, this is a huge target. And yes, this knight can be supported here. And if the knight was here, it'd be a 2-move stopover. Boom. That's how people normally play this. They put the knight here, it backs up this knight, and then they can jump into c4 really quickly. This thing getting to c4, wow, that's a journey, right? So since I'm able to see that's a huge journey, I can take advantage of how long the journey is going to take. I'm immediately doubled on it. The knight's in a terrible spot. They have to back up the pawn, and so now they're stranding this knight over here. And I'm able to take advantage. I did have to give up a bad pawn structure, but to get full infiltration. I'm curious if the engine thinks I should trade here. Yeah, I thought maybe there was more here. The engine says I am crushing, by the way. This is a 2.4 lead. And that's actually fine. Engine says maybe best is to bring back here. Keep more pieces on the board. We can still go here. I kind of like the simplicity of if I'm only afraid of my king being vulnerable. Once the queen comes off, there's no threat there. There's no way these rooks are going to be like, get out of my way, we're going to go handle this king, something like that's not happening, right? The queen, though, the queen's a whole nother story. All right, so now we are fully infiltrating. Nice. I'm glad that the computer thinks this is indeed the best move, and then if they go there, this works well. Computer actually likes even better this way through. Okay. So I went this way through. I get the pawn. We exchange pawns, and the computer's like, it is over. It is a 4.6 lead at this point. And now, let's see if we close it out without a big blunder. Things seemed fine in the game. Yep. And then here, oh, no, I forgot. The end game got a little dicey. Like, this looks like a really easy win. Like, it would be impossible even to make it close. Yet, I managed right here to make the giant blunder, right? This was fine. This is fine. This is not fine, and the engine says game's equal, you've blown it. And that's not surprising to me. Being up a single pawn in a rook endgame where my pawns are just a train wreck, I am not at all surprised to see that's a draw. They didn't take the pawn. I got away with it. That's just the bottom line. I got away with one. Again, it makes me feel like I don't really deserve this win, right? Like I played a perfect end game according to the engine, other than the move that loses everything. And then here, my opponent resigns. So, a couple of things. One was in the opening, you're still playing chess. You're not just blitzing out moves, you're playing chess. Number two, even in the end game, when you are crushing somebody, you have to be careful about your moves, right? You can't just wing out a move that takes a win to a draw or a draw to a loss. This has happened to me over the board. This has happened to me in rapid games. It's very frustrating when you blow a game like that. And then three, I think it's really fascinating how subtly wrong opening moves can destroy you. It's probably not quite fair to say this destroys my opponent, but like they didn't seem to have a good reason for going here, and it seemed to be a fundamental misunderstanding of how this opening plays out, where we would rather almost always have this knight here for the many different things it can do, especially if they're planning to do some sort of b5 thing, where then, bam, the knight comes here and it's actually quite strong. Instead, my opponent just got so tied up with the knight troubles. Like, my goodness. This, like, when we got to here, I felt like, oh, this game feels kind of over, right? Like, this is going to drop. This knight wants to come to here, and it'll probably make this super long journey to get there, but it's going to be too late, and that is indeed how it shook out. So, a very interesting game where normally the openings don't dictate that much in my games, but they do when you miss your opponent's blunders in the opening, and they do when you, like, if you're going to put the knight on c6, that might be fine if you play to the fact that your knight is on c6. If you do regular moves that match knight on d7, then it's not that you haven't memorized the moves correctly, it's that you haven't understood properly your openings. And while I'm not a big fan of trying to memorize every move in the opening, I am a very big fan of knowing the plans that you're going for so you can build around that. All right, well, that is going to wrap up another episode of The Road to 2200. Are we climbing? Kind of seems like we are. See you next time, everybody. Bye.